Okay, we are being recorded, and we're going to start the Town of Mendon Select Board meeting dated February 27th, 2023. Welcome, everyone. And any public that attends, would you please identify yourself before you speak? Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm going to read the script
Yes,
for
Sarah, would you
remote
read that?
meetings.
Thank you. Yep.
The meeting of the Mendon Select Board will come to order. This meeting is a remote only meeting, which means that the public body is meeting electronically only and consistent with the temporary provisions of Act 1 of 2023. There is no designated physical meeting location where the public may attend. Please note that while we strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. If a member of the public or of the public body has technical difficulties accessing this meeting remotely, please alert us by emailing mendonadmin@comcast.net in order to rectify the problem. If technical difficulties such as the public being unable to participate occurs and cannot be resolved, we may continue the meeting at a date, time, and place certain if necessary. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by a roll call vote in accordance with the law. As required by the open meeting law, let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance of all members participating in the meeting and have those members attending remotely identify themselves to ensure that we can hear or be heard throughout the meeting.
Okay, I'll start. Larry Purcell, Chair, Select Board.
Val Taylor, Select Board.
Seth Bridge, Select Board.
Excellent.
All right, now let's do our agenda for February 27th, 2023. The agenda presented, we want to add certificate of highway mileage that needs to be signed. That'll be under administrative matters, ABC. And if I happen to skip by that, please remind me. And then back up to the top on number 2, it said add delete items. It says public comment, but that I think is a typo. We have public comment down later on. Oh, hang on, I gotta plug my computer in.
Oh, it looks like Larry might have frozen. I don't know if he can hear us. Here's those technical difficulties that we might have. I'm going to give him a minute to see if he jumps back on. Okay, so he disconnected. He might jump back on. In the meantime, I think he only had that one agenda item to add to the agenda, which is the certificate of highway mileage. I do know that he had a number of different announcements that he was going to make, so he can do that when he comes back on. So maybe we could entertain a motion to add certificate of highway mileage to the agenda. So you need to unmute yourself, Val. That's okay. And if you could just make a motion to add that to the
Sure.
agenda.
I'll make a motion to add the certificate of mileage to the agenda under administrative matters as letter C.
Excellent. And it looks like Larry might be back. Larry, are you back? Okay, he's still figuring things out. So Seth, if we could entertain a second of that motion.
I second that motion.
All in
And then
favor?
that would, yeah,
Say aye.
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 okay. So that's unanimous for those present. So Larry, if you can hear us, we can't hear you, but it does say your microphone is live. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the announcements and then maybe Larry can jump on, but we know that he was going to at least make the announcements that are on the agenda, so we'll do that. Town meeting will be held at the V-Trans building at 61 Valley View in Mendon on March 6th. That's a Monday evening at 6 p.m. And then the following day, March 7th, the polls will be open at the town office at 2282 US Route 4 from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Town meeting candidates. Chris Cressones will be running unopposed as the moderator. Seth Bridge and Lisa Brooks are running unopposed for 2 separate select board seats. Write-in candidates are accepted for all
Okay, I'm
offices
back. My
on the ballot.
apologies.
Hi, Larry. Yep, Larry, we can hear you.
Somebody's using my computer. Grandkids are here.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Just to let you know where we are on the agenda, we have made a motion to add the certificate of highway mileage to the agenda. Did you have other items to add to the agenda?
No, I don't. That's
Okay,
it.
great. So we got through that, and then we got through the announcements up to number C.
Okay, did you take a vote on the agenda? Are we all set on the agenda? Or we
Yeah,
need a
we're
vote.
all set. Yep, nope,
Okay,
we're all set on the agenda.
all right.
If that's the only item that is added. And then, so you can pick up the announcement under C with the zoning administrator.
Okay, here we go. So under C, we have a part-time opportunity for zoning administrator. This is a part-time position at 8 hours per week. Please submit resume and letter of interest to Sarah Tully at Mendon admin@comcast.net. And the next one is D. We have a volunteer opportunity for the Planning Commission. I believe there's going to be 2 openings on that. The Planning Commission is seeking, it does 2 new members. The Select Board would like to thank Gary Seeler for serving on the Mendon Planning Commission. Mr. Seeler is not seeking reappointment in March. And Mendon Recreation Committee will hold a hybrid meeting March 1st at 5:30 p.m. at the town office. And also, probably the biggest news on our agenda is the announcement of the retirement of Ellis and Newt Jones. I get my camera on here. And Newt Jones, we haven't calculated the number of years that Bill and Newt have been on the Mendon, on our highway crew. I don't know how you replace 2 individuals like that with the knowledge they have, their skill. and enjoyed working with the two of them. So we don't know yet exactly, or I don't anyways, the dates that they're leaving. We want to make that announcement, and we'll be having more on this later, thanking them for their service and certainly announcing it at our town meeting. So thank you to Bill and Lou. Also under announcements, let's see, and Sarah, again, I'll send these to you if you don't get them all down. March 6, 2023, the town office will be closed for election preparation. March 13th, 2023, the second half property taxes are due. And the Barstow Unified Union School Board Annual District Meeting is tomorrow, February 28th, 2023, at the Barstow Memorial School, starting at 6:30 p.m. There is a virtual option available to listen and watch only with no authority to vote from the floor. Dog licenses are due April 3rd, 2023. The Mendon Town Report is available on our website, mendonvermont.gov. You click on Documents, go to the bottom, click on Town Reports. When you get on that, click on 2022 Town Report, and it's also available on Front Porch Forum, Mendon Killington Front Porch Forum. The next announcement is the Vermont Principals Association announces its Hall of Fame class. We have a Mendon resident there and a former Mendon resident that have been selected for the Hall of Fame. First off, one was a coach, and another one was a student athlete. And let me grab my glasses. The first one I'll read. This is from the Rutland Herald, February 22nd, 2023. Richard Dick Wilcox of Mendon was a basketball coach at Proctor from 2000 to 2012. During that time, the teams he led won 5 state Division IV championships, including a 95-game undefeated streak. He finished with a 268 record and was recognized as the Division IV Coach of the Year on 2 occasions. The second one is shown under student athletes. Meredith Bagley of West Hartford, Connecticut, was an outstanding 3-sport student athlete for Rutland High School. She was a 4-year starter for the soccer and softball teams, earning all-state honors in both as a senior, 1995, while skiing alpine in the winter season. She led Rutland High School to alpine team championships in 1993 and 1994, with dual individual championships in slalom and giant slalom each year. Bagley went on to play soccer and softball at Harvard University. So congratulations to Dick and Meredith. Well done. The Vermont League of Cities and Towns has a Select Board Essentials coming up. This might be something of interest to all of you. The first one is in person, which is March 25th, 2023 at 10 a.m. You probably have received the information on this. If not, you can get it from Nancy if you want to sign up. The second option is a virtual option. It's on March 30th, 2023 at 11 a.m. So virtual sounds like a good one. You're traveling, I don't know where it is, probably Montpelier, but you can stay at home and do that one. And this is something I'm going to be sending out to the Recreation Committee. It's the CDS application portal is now open, and that's the Bernie Buzz. There's funding for an innovative project that benefits Vermont communities. And the contact person is Devin Neary, Executive Director, Rutland Regional Planning Commission. The deadline is March 10th, 2023 at 5 p.m. And again, I'll forward that to the Recreation Committee. That may be something we can use to supplement the ARPA funding we're going to get for the playground. Let's see if I missed anything. I don't believe so.
Larry, while we're on that subject of the Recreation Committee, it looks like there's a couple grant opportunities coming up in March, and I don't want them to get lost in the shuffle after town meeting. So I'm requesting that the select board authorize the Recreation Committee through myself to apply for two different funding applications. One was the one that you just mentioned, if we can find a project that we think is going to be funded by that, an eligible project as the play structure. And the other one was an AARP Vermont, a national grant through AARP that could potentially help pay for playground, for the playground expansion. And that was due March 15th.
Okay. So we have, that's good information to receive now because we have a meeting Wednesday
Correct.
at 5:30. It's a hybrid meeting.
And I've given Liam and I've discussed it with Lisa a heads up on that because they're the ones gathering the information about the play structures. So I can work with them on that.
Okay, well, we've got that kind of lined up here under business. Okay, let's move on. Under administrative matters, the first one is our warrants, which we've received ahead of time from Jesse. We've gone through everything looks okay. So I'll make a motion to approve orders for February 13th, 2023 in the amount of $13,554.98 and a payroll for $10,761.11.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Val. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 It's unanimous. Motion passes. Second one are the minutes, February 13th, 2023. Again, sent ahead of time. We'll make a motion in a second to see if there's any edits or corrections. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented, the minutes of February 13th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Val. Is there any additions, deletions, edits, corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Motion passes. Under C, we have the certificate of highway mileage, which I've seen many times. And Sarah, could you give a brief explanation of that?
Yep. So this is an annual adoption of the certificate of highway mileage. It's an opportunity for the town to make any changes to the number of roadways that are classified as 1, 2, 3 classes. Seth, I think you're familiar with the different classes of roadways. Lisa, that might be a discussion that we could have after the election. So what this certification is certifying that we have the number of mileage roads for each classification. And there's been no changes since last year. We're not presenting any changes to the certificate of highway mileage.
Sarah, remind me, is that for the chair to sign or the select board?
I think it's for the select board. I need at least 2 signatures on it.
Okay.
So I've requested, and then it's signed by the town clerk. So I've requested that Nancy print out a copy of it and have it available for signatures at the office. But yeah, it's for all select board members and then the town clerk.
All right, I'm making a motion to sign the certificate of highway mileage.
I second that.
Thank you, Seth. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Unanimous. So the certificate of mileage and the warrants, again, will be in my mailbox when you get a chance to go in and sign them. Okay, we are now down to public comment. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to make a comment? Seeing none, then public comment is closed. There was nobody there for public comment. And then as we move on, for the rest of them, after each agenda item, I will open up again to the public for comment, but it has to be on that agenda item. We'll start with ARPA. So to recap from our previous meeting, we added a few things to it. We started out with 302,000, I think $285 and change. And so far we have allocated $190,156, and that's against to date. That leaves a remaining amount, to the best of my calculations, of $112,129. That has to be allocated by the end of December 2024. And again, the funds need to be spent by the end of December 2026. At our last meeting, we also discussed, and to my knowledge, did not make a decision on a garage generator. We have an estimate of $15,000. And also going back to that, $190,156 allocated. That included $15,000 for a generator for the town office, but we are hopefully waiting to hear that the grant is approved and the grant would pay for half of that. So you'd hopefully, best case scenarios, have $7,500 coming back into your remaining funds. But as of yet, we don't know. So we discussed. Go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to provide an update about that. The grant of Vermont Emergency Management did reach out to the town to provide additional information regarding a historical review of the building. This is part of their approval process to evaluate whether, the project they're approving is making modifications to potentially a historic building. So I'm not exactly sure what we have to do in order to do that self-assessment, but those are steps that we're following through in order to get that award.
Okay, thank you for the update. So again, we discussed the garage generator. We still think that's around 15,000. To my knowledge, you guys can correct me, we didn't make a decision on that, where that ranked with importance. My recommendation as I leave is that you set aside, it's up to you, $50,000 for the 2023-2024 budget. That came in handy this time to get the percentage down for the budget. You still have a couple of years, so that's the recommendation. Also, you might want to put $10,000 into reserve in case any of these projects come over, what we had anticipated. That could be anything that we've looked at so far. just kind of a cushion.
So Larry, let me just clarify that comment. So what you're saying is that you just want to set aside and not obligate up to $10,000 to have as a contingency if any of the projects go over, because it is a regulation that we're not able to transfer any of those funds into our reserve accounts. So I just wanted to make that clear that we're not actually taking ARPA money and putting it in reserve accounts that we have, but we would actually just be earmarking it temporarily for overruns in case any of the projects went over our budgeted amounts.
All right, thanks, Sarah, because that is important, because once you obligate it, then yeah. Another thing which I never researched, if we obligated funding, say, for a project at the town garage, and then it was obligated in time by the end of December 2024, project for bonding or whatever would have to go to a town vote, and if it wasn't successful, you've obligated the money. You've gone past the deadline for obligating. What happens to that funds? Can you put it back in? So that's some research to see if you can re-obligate it. I don't have an answer on that yet. Okay, so back to the garage generator. We discussed it, but that's up in the air. Nothing has to be decided now. Whether you leave, we not obligate, but keep that 50,000 in mind for the next budget in case you need it. If you don't, you can put it towards paving or whatever. Reserve in case anything else comes out. So that adds another 75,000, and that leaves you with $37,129, which isn't a lot of money. So, I mean, when you started out with 302,285, sounds like a lot of money, but it goes fast. But again, so far we've only allocated 191.56. We've gone slow. I've mentioned several times, I'm glad we did. Also, if you look at our data that Sarah has sent, we also have a couple other requests out there. We kind of set a precedent with the Mendon Rec. Their project is around, and Lisa can correct me, around a $65,000 project. We did not fully fund that. We allocated 50,000 towards that. So moving forward, if you have money left over from other projects, I would only recommend, to you again, not going to be there, that you fund them partially if you decide to do that, not fully. And again, if you just set some money aside for a budget, or just have that in mind, do the reserve, add another 75, you're down to 37,129. That's kind of the update. I don't think we have to take any action tonight on that generator. I haven't heard back yet from Bill Ellis regarding the structure over the diesel fuel tank, or estimates for addition to the salt shed, or another bay to the town garage. And speaking of the town garage, I did send an email out from one of the companies that did look at it, and did say it would have to be a standalone building. It can be connected with a doorway system, but because of the structure of our existing building, it's not designed to be added onto by using that wall. So that's the ARPA update that I leave you with.
One more piece of information, Larry, regarding ARPA is today the VLCT did an inspection on all of our buildings. So if there's anything that comes back with some recommendations there in order for us to meet requirements, they might also be asked to be added to the list for ARPA funds.
Thank you. Just popped into my mind regarding the remaining funds, or but we haven't allocated yet. When the ARPA funding first came out from the U.S. Treasury Department, it was allocated best for infrastructure projects, naming water and sewer and broadband. Those were the big ones they were doing. And a lot of things didn't fit with municipalities and towns around the country. So the Treasury Department came out with a final rule and said you could take the money, lost revenue, and use it for government services. And then there was confusion of what is a government service versus what is not. Some of the projects, which I wouldn't classify as government service, I sent to VLCT and the Rutland Regional Planning, and they came back and said, yes, they do qualify under the ARPA funding. Speaking of that, one of the recommendations from the Treasury Department and from the VLCT was to use your funding to leverage other funding. An example of that would be our Route 4 scoping study. It's coming up. There was federal money for that in the amount of $36,000, and we had to have a $9,000 match for that, for a total of $45,000. So there's a good example of leveraging money. State of Vermont, the governor has just done that to get transportation funds. They have to set a certain amount aside to receive the federal funding. So keep that in mind. You might want to set some money aside. So if there's any grants coming up that require matching funds from the town, you could use the ARPA money for that. Okay, town meeting preparation. Let's see. I'm going to do the budget, and Nancy and I are going to team up for a BCA report on the reappraisal process. Val is going to do recognitions. Just a minute, Val. I had a list here somewhere. Okay, so we certainly have Bill Ellis and Newt Jones. Also Gary Sealer. And added to that, Sir Val.
Could also be Andy Zach.
Andy Zach. Thank you, Sarah, for that. Yep. Yep. Also, looking on our website, Val, we have a statement in our town report that we are always looking for volunteers. These people have a positive impact on the town. We cannot operate without these volunteers. And you can give a list of the openings that we have, certainly starting with zoning administrator. There are 2 positions on the Mendon Planning Commission, 1 position on the Energy Committee, and Sarah, what am I missing? ZBA, is there a ZBA? There's another one, there's an opening.
There's one on the ZBA.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I got, Val. And then Sarah has reached out to help anyone that wants some help with the presentation so you don't miss anything. Sarah, I'm all set with the budget. I don't need anything. And then Seth, based on last meeting, is going to talk about getting a burn permit and the necessity for doing that so the town doesn't get billed for an unnecessary burn, how easy it is to get the permits, and to keep an eye out for a new ordinance that is being worked on as far as burn permits. Did I miss anything? And Sarah, getting back to our articles at town meeting, where will we fit this in? So my discussion with Nancy that the reappraisal in the BCA, because it's funded in the budget, that we would talk about that under that article. And what about Val and Seth? Where do they fit in that agenda as far as an article?
So it is up to Chris, but I'll provide him an outline and he can make changes to that. I mean, he's the one in charge of the meeting. But I would think that we'd want to do recognitions at the beginning of the meeting. And then, but once he calls it to order, he might call on Jim Harrison to speak first as our representative. And then as we get into our articles, we'll ask if we can do the recognitions before we start the first article. The rest of the budget presentation would be under Article 2.
Right.
And that can also be the burn permit discussion because we're essentially reducing false alarms to the public safety budget is where the charges for the fire department would come in. And so the purpose of the burn permit is to inform the fire department where we've authorized burning in Mendon so they don't have false alarms. And as far as the recap of the reappraisal, that would also be under that Article 2. So all of these presentations would be under Article 2 because it's our only financial one. It's our only financial article in town meeting. The rest of them are just approval of the appropriations and the creation of the Community Center Reserve Fund in which Patty Lancaster is answering questions about that.
Okay. So that all comes under Article 2, except for announcements. That'll come out first. Is that, or announcements?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to propose to Chris is that he let Jim Harrison go first because Jim has to go attend other town meetings. And then we can do our articles of recognition or, the recognition presentations, which I'll tell him is only going to be 5 minutes. They're just quick things, right?
And Patty Lancaster is Article 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And Seth and Lisa, for your update on Article 3, shall the town vote to create a community center reserve fund and appropriate $10,000? So officially from the start, Megan Smith, who is the chair of the Community Center Committee, has kept us in the loop, up to date. Originally, and Sarah, correct me, but originally the select board approved the starting the process to look at a certain piece of property so they could get funding for that. We did appropriate some funding for that, but things have changed, locations have changed, and so officially the select board has taken no position on this at all other than just being informed. So if they get to that Article 3 and ask, where the select board stands on this, I'll just make a statement that we've just received information up to date. And we have no position at this point because there's, it's still in the planning process and it's got a ways to go, even location or what they plan on doing. So the other thing, of course, you made the notices of where the town meeting is going to be. We're actually going to need some help, some volunteers for anyone that's available to set up. We'll pay attention to just how the chairs are in the adjacent room. Make sure they go back the same way. Usually after town meeting, everyone helps out to put things back. The only other thing is we pull in to get to the parking lot. We want to encourage all of us, anyone that can, to use the parking lot where Podcat is and other businesses. There is a lawn area as soon as you come in off Route 4. I'm going to recommend that we kind of stake that off and tape it so that sometimes people park where they want to park, but the last thing we want is anyone parking on their grass. So this is going to be a one-time usage of that building. So anyone that's available, Sarah, I don't know if you can kind of organize or how we're going to do that for volunteers. Send out an email, see who's available. I'm available all day. So we'll wait to hear from you on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so
the office is closed, so we'll have Nancy and Jesse as well.
Right, yeah. The best of my knowledge, other than staking off the grass area, it's basically setting up chairs. From what I can tell, there's a table there for the select board and the moderator. Do we need to bring anything for the moderator as far as podium
I'll
people?
look to see if we have to bring the podium down.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a podium there. So typically on our list is the podium and the flag to make sure that we can do the Pledge of Allegiance.
The acoustics in there is really excellent, so I doubt we'll need a PA system, but
Right.
if we have one, it wouldn't be better. It would be okay to have it on hand. They keep saying it's upstairs, but I don't know if anyone's ever located it, but hopefully we won't need it. But if somebody's shouting from the back that they can't hear, then we'll have it on hand. I'm not sure if Fred had anything to add. I just see he's... All right, so down to, I don't know if there's any other business that we have that we missed. Oh, we did miss something. I know we did. So we did the certificate of mileage. Sarah, did I miss anything?
Nope, I don't think so.
Town report, website, volunteers. Oh, the recreation one. Select board approval for the recreation committee to apply for grants.
Mm-hmm. For the March 10th and March 15th.
Okay, hang on.
Without reviewing those applications, I don't know if they just need to be signed by the chair or the whole board, but I might need to bring you in. But if you authorize that if the projects are eligible based on the grant requirements, that we can apply for them on those 2 dates.
Okay. So I'll make a motion for the select board to approve and sign, if necessary, whether it's the chair or the full board, 2 grants that the Recreation Committee can apply for on March 10th and March 15th. Will that motion do it?
Yeah.
You need a second?
Oh.
Second
Thank
that.
you, Seth.
I'll second that, Larry. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Seth. All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Just a few remarks that I wrote down. As you know, with the retirement of Bill Ellis and Newt Jones, that's going to be your number one priority, with both the select board and working with Sarah. That's a tall order. Serving on the Transportation Advisory Commission, committee rather, or council. This is not a unique problem to Mendon. Several towns are facing this. The town of Shrewsbury hired a road crew member, started at 6 a.m. and they were gone by noon, half day. So it's difficult to fill these positions. A minimum of a Class B CDL is required. So the word out is to be aggressive and creative in how you're going to fill these positions, because you're talking about 3 positions. We have talked about finalizing the time when Newt and Bill will be leaving. I think there might be 2 different times, but you certainly are going to need an overlap time to bring in members or new employees to learn everything they're going to need to do with a mountainous town that's challenging, geographically challenging like ours, and learning to run the equipment. So you may go over budget on that, depending when you can get them on and when our guys leave. So you'll have to be prepared for that one. But that is what I can see your number one priority. I'll always be there to support you guys in any way. Call me at any time. I'll give you my opinion. You'd probably be best to do the opposite of what I tell you, but not going anywhere. But yeah, if you have any problems, let me know. One of the issues we have as you go forward with budgets and projects, taxes and budgets, is when we did the local hazard mitigation plan, we found out that, no newsflash, that Vermont has an aging population, with the exception of Chittenden County. And when we looked at Rutland County and looked at the data of all the municipalities in Rutland County, Mendon had the highest rate of an aging population in Rutland County. So keep that in mind. Other than that, it's been a privilege and an honor to serve the town. There's been some interesting and challenging times. You certainly will find out a few. Hopefully not what I went through, but I was glad to do it. Glad to come back in and help out. I have complete faith in all of you, because I've worked with all of you before, including Lisa, on recreation, that you'll move forward and take care of the town business. Remember that the budget is your guideline for all your spending, and to stay within that. So anyways, I might be able to help you out more off the select board than on the select board. So again, anytime you want to call me, I'll be there. And Val, I've had the privilege of working with you for 2 years. I really enjoyed working with you. I think you got it all. Seth's going to be the new one, but Seth and I go back. I just happened to be going through files today. Seth and I go back to when he was playing soccer in high school, and I was the president of the MSJ soccer club And I found a couple things that all the players and parents had signed because we were only partially funded by the
Yes, we
Athletic
were.
Association. And if you remember, Seth, we had to do bottle drives to raise money to get transportation to go to the next game. And we did it every time. So
That's
uh,
right, we did.
I don't know if you remember, Seth, but you were number 15.
I was.
You were 15, yeah.
I
So,
was.
yeah, so I found your signature here. I've been practicing it. So all I need is your credit card number and your PIN. If you could email it to me, I would appreciate it.
Mm.
Oh yeah, all of you. It was a privilege to work with you, Sarah. We go back to the first story of how I got on the select board. I still have my form with your signature on it only. Uh, so, anyways, that's it. Been a privilege and an honor. And if you need me, it's a phone call or text or email away. So, thank you.
Larry, I really enjoyed working with you. Yeah, don't just keep your phone close by.
Yeah.
Maybe my own special ringtone, like a siren.
Okay, as long as it's not
Oh,
once a day, Val.
No.
so Larry, I do have Fred Bagley and Carol Gates with their hands raised that they might want to say something.
Okay, let me just quickly just see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. Again, the orders and the certificate of highway mileage will be in my box. And last one, signing, put it on Nancy's desk. Let's see. We did that. I think we're good. All right, Fred, go alphabetical order. You got your hand up. You're on, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. In the 43 years that we've lived in Mendon and tried our best to follow town select board and other municipal issues, I can't think of a select board chair who's done more for the town of Mendon in very difficult times. So I realize I'm an audience of one here talking to you, but I know I speak on behalf of the entire town, and no amount of thanks are enough to recognize all that you've given to us. So stay well, stick around, and it's going to be fun to see you outside of the chairman's chair.
Thank you, Fred. I'm not sure, Fred, if you were at the beginning of the meeting, but we read a report on the VPA announces its Hall of Fame class, and that came out of the Rutland Herald, and I read the first one on coaches for Dick Wilcox, and then the second one was your daughter, Meredith Bagley. Um, since you didn't hear, you weren't on at the beginning, Fred.
I'm sorry we were not, but we're
Okay, I
aware of
want
the
to
honor.
congratulate you and Jennifer, but I will read it again as long as you're on. Meredith Bagley of West Hartford, Connecticut, was an outstanding three-sport student athlete for Rutland High School. She was a four-year starter for the soccer and softball teams, earning all-state honors in both as a senior, 1995, while skiing alpine in the winter season. She led Rutland High School to alpine team championships in 1993 and 1994, with dual individual championships in slalom and giant slalom each year. Bagley went on to play soccer and softball at Harvard University. So congratulations, Fred and Jennifer. Well done, Meredith.
Well, thank you. And how common is it that a town of 900 people gets two people admitted to the Athletic Hall of Fame in the same year, and they happen to live a quarter mile apart?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you think the Brain Trust is in your area of Woodward Road, it's actually on South Mendon Road. I just want to let you know that.
We've always known that energy flows downhill in Mendon. So
Yeah. All right.
thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Fred.
much.
Yeah. Carol Yates is up next.
Yes,
You're open. You're muted.
on behalf of my husband and I'd like to say good riddance.
Good
Larry.
riddance, Larry. You were the worst person on the board ever, besides Dick Wilcox.
Hi, can I speak? Lisa Brooks.
Yes, absolutely, Lisa.
Larry, it was my pleasure meeting you, and I know where you live, so I'll be knocking on your door at all hours asking questions.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, any other comments? Seeing none, make motion to adjourn at 5:57.
Good riddance.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are
Aye.
adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank
It's
you,
been a
Larry.
pleasure.
South
Thank you,
Mendon
Larry.
Road. South
Night.
Mendon
We'll
Road.
talk soon.